AITA for telling my cousin that she ruined a family heirloom? I, F26, have two cousins, F33 and F28. My oldest cousin, Jane, is married. My other cousin, Amy, just got married. I am single. Right before she got engaged last summer, our grandma gave Amy's fiancé, John, a diamond ring to propose with. This ring is a gorgeous white gold and diamond ring that our grandpa gave her. He died when our dads were teens. My grandma has since remarried and always said that she'd pass on the ring. I won't lie, I've always loved that ring and hoped it would be me, but I'm also the youngest cousin, so I tried to temper my expectations. Mostly I was happy for Amy and glad the ring was staying in the family, and Jane agreed. Fast forward to this weekend, which was Amy's wedding. Neither Jane nor I were in the wedding, but we both went to the hotel room where Amy was getting ready. She asked if we wanted to see the rings. We were both confused, but said sure. And what she showed us was a gargantuan, tacky engagement ring and wedding band set. I sputtered something like, "But I thought you were getting married with Grandma's ring?" Amy just smiled and said, "Yeah, it is Grandma's ring." She explained that for her wedding gift, she asked John to upgrade the ring into this monstrosity since he didn't have to pay for an engagement ring in the first place. One of the diamonds was Grandma's and then the white gold melted down to make one of her wedding bands, but the rest was all new stuff. I burst into tears. I was so shocked and hurt. I told her she destroyed our grandparents' heirloom. If she wanted a giant diamond to wear every day, that's her choice, but the ring was important to our family. Amy got huffy and said she had to finish getting ready, so Jane and I left. Jane was also upset but had the attitude of, "It's Amy's ring, nothing we can do now." I told her I didn't think Grandma would have given it to John and Amy if she knew she was going to take it apart. I found Grandma and asked her if she knew what Amy had done. Amy's mom had told her that Amy had to have it resized and have the setting fixed, but Grandma had no idea that it was made into an entirely new ring. She didn't say anything, but I could tell she was upset. The wedding went on, but everyone could tell that there was some awkwardness between me and Amy and Jane, and Grandma is refusing to talk about the matter. Amy is saying I owe her an apology. But I don't think I'm in the wrong for saying she destroyed a family heirloom. Plus the fact that she didn't tell anyone what she was doing and misled Grandma says to me she knew she was wrong, or at least it wouldn't have been condoned. I feel like she saw it not as an heirloom but a way to subsidize what she really wanted. I know the mature thing to do is just get over it and accept that it was given to Amy and she made her choice, but I'm finding it really hard to get over what she did. Am I the awe for feeling the way I do? NTA. What kind of awe takes apart a family heirloom? You can't be blamed for having an emotional reaction, and she's so trashy for what she did. NTA, your cousin sounds selfish and ungrateful. NTA, if your cousin didn't want the ring as it was, she shouldn't have accepted it. That's what normal people do, not entitled awe. NTA. Amy knows she's in the pig pen with this, or else she wouldn't have either lied to or roped in her mother to mislead your grandma, because one of both of them knew the decision to do jewelry surgery would have upset Grandma. You're right not to want to apologize to Amy, but ultimately you ask your grandmother how she's traveling because there's a good chance your grandmother feels she can't say anything about what's happened. You picked the worst possible moment to give your 2 cents on how ugly the upgraded ring is, plus running to tell Grandma when you must have known it would cause upset during the wedding was childish. The ring was changed already, all your outburst did was start the wedding off on an unhappy foot. Again, you're entitled to your feelings, but I would have saved talking about it until after the wedding. If you loved the original ring, find a pic of it and take it to a jeweler and get a new one made up in the same image for yourself. You can do that regardless of whether you get married one day or not. The new ring can still be passed on as an heirloom in the spirit of Grandma's ring. NTA. So, getting jewelry remade isn't something new, and it does happen. It also is her property since it was gifted to her, and she does have the right to do with it as she wishes. However, when she changed it, she then lied to her grandma saying it was just a resizing, which makes her the ah here. She should have been upfront about it instead of lying. She lies because she knows what she did wasn't right. She should have returned the ring instead. She is an even bigger ah because it was a family heirloom. The want to have an apology despite lying to others shows how entitled she is. My first hub's grandmother was so excited when we got engaged. My Phil was an only child and my Farhat Hubs was the firstborn son, fifth of firstborn sons with the same first name. Our son became the sixth generation with the same first name. Closing parenthesis. Grandmom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 6 months before our wedding and she asked me if I would wear her rings as my wedding set. She didn't want her dill, my mill, choosing who got them and my Hub's 2 sisters would have lost or sold them. She said I was the only one who would keep them as an heirloom. Also had a matching watch. My mill was mad, thought the set, with 3 pieces, including the watch, could be divided between me and my 2 sil. When Hubs and I divorced, he wanted them back claiming, family heirloom. I refused. When I asked what he was going to do with them, in front of the judge, he said he was going to sell them to raise dollar to pay his attorney. I told him that was why I refused to give them to him. And why Grandmom wanted me to have them. I would never sell a family heirloom. Judge agreed with me. Nearly 20 years later I still have them, waiting for our son to inherit when he weds. Now I think I need to get his future bride to sign a contract to prohibit alteration and she must return them if they divorce, after reading this. NTA. NTA. I feel your pain greatly, dear Op. My grandma raised me supporting my mom when I was a child, so I always had a strong connection. She died many moons ago, so my mom gave me her wedding ring as a gift or heirloom if you want. I got married with it and except for engraving my wife's name inside. There are no other modifications. My wife's grandma passed away from an unknown degenerative illness when my wife was just a small baby. She asked her mom about the wedding ring and her uncle kindly passed it to her. Even that was hardly modified and was used for our marriage. I will defiantly pass my one to my future grandchildren if they want, as I think this dull golden ring is the last standing witness of the most beautiful love story I have ever seen. Imagine my grandparents like the old man of Up and his wife. NTA. She is just a selfless awe that just wants more. Even heirlooms she will take. Just for the money or worth. Make sure she never gets anything again. No heirlooms, no inheritance from parentons or grandparents. She just locked herself out from all family money and items. My heart breaks for you. I am wearing my grandmother's wedding ring because I couldn't find any in the store I liked. When I mentioned what I was looking for to my mom, she showed my grandmother's wedding band she still had. She had pulled all of the diamonds out previously and put them in a J ring she wore herself and then eventually gifted me. I never knew that's where the diamonds in the J came from. I loved the setting, took the band, and the initial ring to a jeweler, snaked them to cut a whole new shank for the ring sized to me. The original was pretty thin and had my grandparents' initials engraved on it. I still wear their ring 30 years later. My sister got married 5 years after me and had trouble with her chance finding an engagement ring she liked. It was planned as it was a rushed wedding, she wanted a vintage look. Again Mom to the rescue. Pulled out Grandma's empty squared-off antique engagement setting and a pendant she had made in the 80s from the stone. Off to the jeweler my sister went to reunite the two. My mom always joked for years if she'd ever had any inkling that we would be sentimental she never would have pulled the stones out of the settings to begin with. NTA. My mother gave me her engagement ring. While there was a diamond missing and it wasn't necessarily to my taste. I asked my mother's opinion and showed her the new design. I also took care to do something similar but closer to what I would like. Initially she was sad that I wanted to change it, but when she saw the new design, she was so happy and appreciated that I showed her first. Your cousin showed lack of appreciation towards the sentimental memory of the ring. YTA. You put a blemish on her wedding day because you're jealous. She was gifted the ring and used it to create one more to her style. It can still be just as sentimental to her and still be her grandmother's ring. Not to mention you go on about an heirloom ring as if it's been handed down through multiple generations. It's not an heirloom, it was your grandmother's ring. NTA. This sentence says it all. I feel like she saw it as not an heirloom but a way to subsidize what she really wanted. The way she misled the family into thinking it's being only resized says a lot about Amy's character. You will have to let this go. It's done. But I'd be viewing Amy with a different lens permanently. You handled this so much better than I would have. NTA. I understand people take and remake things all the time and that's great. But if it's a family heirloom, it needs to be okayed by the family as a whole. Have a conversation first, and if someone isn't okay with the plan, come to a compromise that makes everyone happy. If no compromise is possible, it doesn't get altered. To just go ahead and turn it into something completely unrecognizable, without so much as letting the family know, is just wrong. If someone pulled that in my family, they would no longer be considered family, by any of us. We're an easygoing bunch, who can forgive a lot of crap, but there's no undoing this. That ring was priceless and she turned it into junk. Plus, I don't know about your family, but in my family, my grandma was everyone's favorite person. Even now, after she's been gone 20 years, she is someone everyone looks up to, admires and respects. If anyone purposely ruined any of the things which once belonged to her, that any one of us happened to value, there would be blood, a possible body, and a shit ton of irreparable damage to several relationships within the family. She knew y'all would say no. She knew y'all were gonna try to stop her. She knew Grandma would have taken the ring back. But she did it anyway. NTA. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe to see more content and let me know your thoughts in the comments.